What's up, lads? Today we're going to be talking about Pluton, and this is a big topic because it just got revealed in the last chapter that Pluton is in Wano, and there's so much to talk about when it comes to it. I'm very excited. There's so many possibilities. We're going to just speculate and have a good bit of crack for that. First of all, Robin is keeping this hidden for almost 800 plus chapters. Now, I looked it up, and that's when the whole burning of the manual and stuff happened. The blueprint, sorry. So that was 800 chapters ago. So the reveal was very well timed. I don't know when she found it out on Alabasta, so I can't ascertain that per se. But I will say that I'm very excited to see what happens with Robin in the future when it comes to Pluton. Because I feel like, let's talk about its location first. I'm going to work off the assumption it's a warship for a minute. I'm not even going to entertain the idea it's not, just because we'll talk about that in an entirely separate thing later on in the video. But let's say it is a warship. Where could it possibly be? I'm trying to think of an idea of where as a ship it could be. Obviously, a lot of people are saying that's where Big Mom and Kaido are. That's where it's going to be. And I think that's a cool idea because it has something to do with the underworld. So people are kind of going off that. I think that would be cool, but I don't know. I feel like now, because if we remember a quote from Kaido where he goes, there's a reason I went to Wano, is because it's special. Well, it's special because of Pluton's there. So that's probably why Kaido went there, because if you think about it from Kaido's perspective, what's the best thing to have during a war? A massive warship. So do we assume he has Pluton in his possession? Probably. I'd assume so. I'd assume it's where the rope poneglyph is, in my personal opinion. I think when they find the rope poneglyph, they're going to find Pluton. But you see, that creates some problems, and I'll explain why now. Because a lot of people are saying Green Bull will get Pluton, and I do think that would be a cool idea. But I don't actually think so. What I think is going to happen, realistically, is that Blackbeard, because in the interlude, Blackbeard speaks about Pluton. Or not about Pluton, but about an object, and he's like, if they're not going to get it, then we will. Everyone set sail, right? And at the time, we still thought it was Pluton. We thought he was going to go to Alabasta, because Alabasta was shown in that interlude as well. But now, with the context of Pluton being in Wano, in my opinion, there's going to be a big, huge hubbub about Green Bull coming to Wano. There's going to be a big conflict going on, and then out of nowhere, like in Marineford, Blackbeard's going to swoop in and take Pluton, and maybe even the rope poneglyph. And then that sets off the big, huge arc after Wano, which, I mean, will be cool and all. But do we think Robin's getting captured? I don't think so. I think we're getting everything else, though. I honestly do. I don't believe Blackbeard needs Robin. I don't know why I have this viewpoint, but I just don't think so. I have this sort of idea that he won't need Robin. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I have no way to explain it. But I don't know. Because I don't want Robin to be captured again, to be honest with you. I think it's a waste of time. I know people are like, oh, well, it makes sense. But I don't know. I don't really care for that idea personally. I think the idea that he gets Pluton instead would be a more entertaining idea to sit through. Because if we look at it this way, that's a great way to build up Blackbeard as a major villain. Like, to build him up as this big time villain that everyone's concerned about. But also, it's a great way to get the Pluton out of the government's hands and out of Luffy's hands. Because realistically, as someone said to me before, there's no way they're abandoning the Sunny, right? So there's no way it could have, if we want it to be a warship, the Straw Hats can't get their hands on it. Because they're never going to abandon the Sunny. We even hear that it's going to be a big character in Film Red, which I know is not canon, but that shows you they're not going to get rid of it for some Pluton. The biggest theory ongoing is that if they do find Pluton, it's just going to be used to upgrade Frankie's technology and along with Queen's technology, which could definitely be the case, and I would be okay with that. And then they do Pluton upgrades to the Sunny itself, which could entirely be possible, then turning the Sunny into Pluton without actually getting rid of the Sunny, and then having the Sunny get its own upgrade, which I think would be cool, and would be a way to have the Sunny still be Pluton, but still be riding on the Sunny. But at the same time, in my opinion, Frankie memorized the blueprints and the Sunny is already the Pluton countermeasure that we already know of, so it can basically function the same. That's my own viewpoint anyway when it comes to the Sunny. But then you'd think Frankie would have been confronted by Robin, who knows about Pluton. So it's an interesting idea, to be honest. There's a lot to be said. You've got the idea of Green Bull. Now, we don't know what Green Bull will do with Pluton, but if he gets it, that would be a way to impress Akainu and push for the war to be in the Marine side when they have Pluton. But then that would also be good for the world government, because they would have Pluton on their side then. They'd probably take it from Akainu. And then having Akainu be more negative and be more aggressive towards the world government after that, causing a rift in the Marines that could be capitalized on by the revolutionaries, which I think would be very interesting as well. I don't know, though. There's so much to be said about Pluton. There's a ton of different options. Now, personally, I believe the way they're going to work this is that it can only be used by a Kozuki member. That is my opinion, right? Because we've seen so much about the Kozukis and about how important they are to Wano, and how Zunisha is like the companion of Joy Boy, is required to open up the borders, all that jazz, and how Zoe is like the allies of the Kozuki. In my opinion, in some regard, you're going to need Kozuki blood to power power Pluton. I don't necessarily think Pluton itself is a person, for example, Momo. I think what is needed is a Kozuki person or someone of Kozuki blood to power Pluton, to steer it, for example, right? And that's why I think Momo said he couldn't die, because he's needed for the dawn of the world. He's needed to control Pluton. But then, that is my opinion on it anyway. That's what I think will happen with Momo. I don't think he needs to leave Wano, because I think if the Straw Hats get their hands on it, I feel like Frankie can say that because of the blueprints, he's able to modify it so they won't need Momo. So then in that sense, then Momo can stay on Wano. Because realistically, it's already been stated that Momo is going to be the great shogun of Wano, so I do not see him leaving Wano. I don't see that as a possibility. I have thought about it a few times. You do know I was a Momo for Straw Hat guy at some point. I think it was after 10-14, I was like, alright, he's joining. Because he had that whole reading of the journal, but like, come on. To be honest, we still don't know if Yamato's joined, and I'm not gonna say my prayers have been answered until that actually happens. I know a lot of people don't think she has or he has joined, so I don't know, to be honest with you, but we'll see in the coming weeks. I guess 4-week break though, so we won't know. It is mad though that Robin hasn't told anyone. Yeah, Robin has known this for so long, and it didn't think it would be helpful information in any regard. She didn't ask Kinemon about it. She didn't ask Momo about it. Like, what was she planning to do? She didn't even she only asked Sasaki. Like, there would have been a chance Sasaki wouldn't have known because he's been gone for so long. You know, Momo might have known. Maybe Odin would have known. I don't know why she didn't ask anyone about it. I guess she would have known. They would have known how important it was. Maybe that was it. But I still think it's a bit odd, personally. Oh, man, though. I'm excited to see what happens next. I still think the Blackbeard theory works out best, because then it carries on into the next arc. Now, there is this possibility, which I'm very excited about. Kaido coming back with Pluton. What if that's what helps him get back? What if that's what causes the eruption that forces the borders open? Is Pluton coming out of the ground, Kaido bringing Pluton out of the ground? This will kill my previous theory of Pluton being required to have Kozuki blood to function, unless they do some bullshit like trickery where it's like Kaido has Kozuki blood, which is not going to happen. I refuse to believe it. So I think only one of these can be true at a time, and then Kaido gets back up with Pluton, and then we see, like, in my opinion, if Kaido does get back up, he's not getting back up for this arc. I feel like he's going to come back in the final war, because he wants to have this big war. I don't think fighting Joy Boy is going to change that. He has had his fight. Like, realistically, right? I don't know. I've had this conversation with people saying that the Kaido ending was mediocre and the backstory was mediocre, and the more I've sat in it, it is. But what really builds up Kaido for me is the actions in the present, the actions in the Odin flashback. And I can't really talk about it without people saying how bad the flashback was. But I feel like we're going to get more about that as the arc goes on. I don't think the arc is over yet. I feel like Wano is going to be a post, like have a post Wano arc where it's like Act 4 and 5, the equivalent to Act 4 and 5. I think the act system is kind of gone now. I think he just used that for the interludes. I don't know. Obviously, that doesn't sound like Oda, but I honestly don't know at this point what the tragedy could be. The tragedy could be the loss of Pluton and the rope poneglyph to Blackbeard, or the tragedy could be the coming back of Kaido and Big Mom. But it's been 7 days, and we already seems like Big Mom has escaped or is dead because the Big Mom ship intercepted the CP0. So we don't know what's going on there, to be honest with you. And if Big Mom is down and that was just the Parasparrow and the rest of his crew, well then, I don't know, man. They've got 2 Yonkos missing in action that we can't really say are dead for certain. And we've got a possible Blackbeard coming to Wano for Pluton. We've got a possible Admiral coming for Pluton after he realizes he can't get Luffy. There's so much that Pluton will involve in the future coming arcs. And I know a lot of people did think maybe Zunisha was Pluton, but it can't be Zunisha because he's already left Wano, so they wouldn't have said it's in Wano. He would have said it's like, he would have said something else like it's away from this land, or it's affiliated with this land. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that personally. I'm very excited to see. Possibly he's Uranus. I don't know at all. But we'll see. What do you guys think the future of Pluton has to do with the story coming up? Do you guys think it's going to be a Blackbeard season situation? Do you guys think the Marines are going to get their hands on it? Do you think the Straw Hats are going to get their hands on it? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure before you go to like and subscribe for more content from me, and I'll be seeing you all later. Goodbye!